Haskell Day at Monmouth Park is Saturday, and we encourage you to visit drf.com, shop.drf.com, anytime you need past performances. They don't have a full store for Monmouth Park, but they have the past performances for every racing day. Right now, Saratoga, one of the premier meets in the summer that a lot of folks are playing. So if you need help playing the races at Saratoga, they've got you covered at shop.drf.com. If you need help playing the races at Del Mar, which opens up this weekend, they've got you covered at shop.drf.com. And we hope that we can lead you to a winner or two on Saturday at Monmouth Park. Earlier in the card, race number 6 is the Molly Pictor, and we'll see Idiomatic as a heavy favorite in here. She was installed at 3-5 on the morning line, and she just towers over this field, and she's a lot quicker than most of them early on. Not only is she classier than most, but she's quicker. So not really a betting race there. The sequence or the races that I'll take a quick look at are races 9, 10, 11, and 12. Those are the 4 races that I'm going to lead you right into the 12th race, which is the Haskell. Race number 9 is the Wolf Hill. It's a 5.5 furlong turf sprint. There's a few that are just logical horses. If you're playing this pick 4 that they have, that's a $500,000 guaranteed that goes through these 4 stakes races. The 5 Arzak, no doubt the horse to beat from a class standpoint, was just behind Cogburn last time out and has won a couple graded stakes races recently over the last few years in tougher spots than this. So he's the horse to beat. If you're looking for the horse to bet, I think he may be the 4, Alagon, who last time out was just hooked wide. You can just eliminate that race from him in the Jaipur because he just had no shot wide chasing those type of fast fractions. And the race has already come back live. We saw the 3rd place finisher Star of Mystery win. Yes, he was behind Arzak, but I just think it's a race that you can completely dismiss for Alagon. Now, the May 4th race was very good. And if we're playing him off of that race with a little improvement built into it, he'll make his 3rd start off the bench now. And you just compare him to some of the others, right? No Balls, who beat Arzak in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. See, Alagon was very competitive with No Balls a few times. Right there on the wire. Groom's All Business is a horse who's been really sharp as of late. Wasn't dismissed by that one last year in the Get Serious. And this is a horse who won this race last year at 10-1. Probably a little tougher renewal of this race. But I'm going to go to Alagon as a horse to use in some of your exotics. If we can get around 5-1, I think a horse that I would play to win. I mean, the logicals, the others in here that are super logical would be Nothing Better, who's pretty quick, and then Eamon from the inside. I thought 4 and 5 were kind of my top tier if you're looking maybe to shorten up a little bit here. One of the horses that I'm probably most interested in of the Monmouth Saturday races is the 1 Stage Raider in race number 10. So going through his entire career, he has some big races. He has the ability to show up with a really good A game. Look at some of the speed figures he's thrown out there. 2nd start, he breaks his maiden. He wins by 10. He earns a 96 buyer. And 5th start of his career, 93 buyer. Comes back following that behind Highly Motivated, 94 speed figure. So we're looking at him with the ability to jump up and have some big races. Now you're looking at his recent form, and he has 4 races in a row that don't look that good. The question we'll have to ask is why? What's been going on in those last 4 races? So August of 2023, he makes the trainer change. He comes from Chad Brown into the Cherie DeVoe barn. And he runs really well in the first 2 starts for the barn. Wins a stakes race, and then he's second in the ACAC. Goes into the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile And at that point, you could see things just go wrong. He doesn't really fire in 3 consecutive races. The Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, the Clark, and then the Tenacious. And they give him a little bit of class relief in the Tenacious, so we can't say, he was just in against too tough a company. Maybe that was the case in the Dirt Mile. Maybe that was the case in the Clark. Wasn't the case in the Tenacious. He was only 9-2 that day. He just didn't show up. So they give him time off. Returns on June the 15th. He's 3 deep at the back of the pack, about only 3 lengths off or so, but he's 8th early on. Compact field. And he just kind of continues to grind up wide. It was a nice comeback, bounce back effort for him. He splits the field. He shakes off some of the rust. It was his best effort in nothing even close to the 3 races prior to that. The horse who won that day, Bright Future, that's a grade 1 winner. Now he gets to draw the rail. Second start back, he'll put 2 together. Can he take another step forward? We know what his ceiling is. It's right below 100 Beyer speed figure. We've seen him at 99. We've seen him at 99, 96 a couple times. He's capable of competing with graded stakes horses. Saw him in the ACAC run really well behind Zozos. Now, pattern-wise, can he just take that step forward? You look at the rest of the field. Kuchar, kind of a consistent, solid horse. Highland Falls is definitely the horse to beat. He's done little wrong in his career. My knock would be recently Stage Raider hasn't been showing as much speed, but he has more tactical speed. We're just kind of focused in on a couple of those bad races in a row. And even in his last start in the Salvatore Mile, he wasn't way out of it. Feels like a good spot for Stage Raider. 6-1. If we can get anything 9-2-ish, above 4, I think that's fair value on him. Because I think it's just a real starting spot for Tapit Trice. This is a horse who's tried to get into a couple different races and has had to back up a few times because of little hiccups and physical issues along the way. So I'm just going to watch him in here. And I think the bet is the one, Stage Raider. Let's move to the United Nations and then the Haskell. In the United Nations, it's a really contentious race. Of course, like Emmanuel is 10-1 in here. And he's a really solid grade 3 type horse. Get Smoking probably the quickest. There's a version of this race where he just steals it. I'm not sure. Timeform US, I was looking at a little earlier, and they had this pace pretty quick. I wasn't sure if it was going to be quite as fast, but they have Get Smoking up front early. When you're looking at the all access past performances, you can just click right onto the Timeform US formulator and get a look at the different features. It's really helpful and convenient. The 5 was interesting right back, Fort Washington. One that you can look at the recent form. May the 9th, it was his first start back in 5 months, 4+ months, misses the break, just sort of runs around. And then in the Monmouth, he was very good for that dead heat win at 35-1. You go back to the Fort Lauderdale, he's chasing Lone Speed that day. Before that, he's in back-to-back races where he runs well at Kentucky, he runs well at Aqueduct. Before that, he's at Colonial hitting the board into non-winners of 2. We see him face Ottoman Fleet, a legitimate graded stakes horse back in May of 2023. And you start going through each of this horse's races and body of work, there aren't that many bad ones. And now he'll go third start of the form cycle here. The 10, Web Slinger. He's always been really classy, and maybe it's just the extra distance that will help him relax a little bit and then come with that big late turn of foot that he has. Those would be my top two in here. They're both a little bit deeper, though. That's why on some tickets, I would want to throw in the 3 just in case, because you can start to see maybe a lot of these horses will take back or be fine sitting mid-pack. Even a horse like Tawny Port, he's okay tracking. So high is the real key to the race. He wants to go. So that's likely why they'll be quick, because if he's pushing it with the 3 and just those 2 alone are pushing it, then everyone else should get a pretty fair opportunity to run them all down late. I thought 5 and 10 look pretty good in here. And as of when I'm recording this on Thursday, not exactly sure who's going to run in this Haskell. They've said they're not positive if Dornick's going to run. Didn't like the inside draw. Tuscan Sky should be in. Timberlake should be in. Fierceness is most likely not in. So Mind Frame's going to be pretty tough in here. I thought he was going to be tough no matter who. He's drawn really well. Should have won the Belmont. He was green late, going that mile and a quarter. And I'm pretty high on him overall as a horse. So I think he's the one to beat. The other one would be Tuscan Sky. You can look at this race, and if Dornick were to stay in, Jasper's Pride, who's stretching out, were to be in. Tuscan Sky, he tried to hold his position last time out. And if you notice, his 3 wins, he hasn't been far out of it early on. So maybe they just want to keep him really close, and that's how he's best. Timberlake hasn't run in a while, and he hasn't really proven that he can go a mile and an eighth. He actually could get a pretty good trip from off the pace in here if a lot of these speed horses ended up going. There's Just Step on it, another one who could be going, and even C Streak. But I don't think Mind Frame needs the lead. We saw him sit off fine in the Belmont, and I think with the outside draw, he would be very content sitting just off whomever. It's a look at Haskell Saturday over at Monmouth Park. Good luck when you're playing the races this weekend at Monmouth, or maybe at Del Mar, or maybe at Saratoga. And remember to head to shop.drf.com for all of your handicapping needs. Good luck.